again available on different platforms. Let me know how I'm doing. I am extremely active on Twitter. My Twitter account is back to the nets as well. I will look forward to hearing from you guys. Leave your feedback on YouTube. That will help as well. And with that being said, let's jump on the topics for today. Today, I would like to talk about the build up to the third test at Leeds, the ongoing test between Pakistan and West Indies at Sabina Park in West Indies, and the build up to the IPL, T20, and the World Cup. So, with that being said, let's start with the IPL. The IPL is now going to happen now. The teams have landed in Dubai and Sharjah, and they have been practicing. And we have seen some snippets and videos that have been put up by the Mumbai Indians, the MI Pulton handle that they have. And it looks like the players are having a good time. They have aggregated, they have come together as a team, they have started the net practices is on, so it's going to be exciting times. And with that being said, the Rajasthan Royals have made a announcement that they will be availing the services of Glenn Phillips as Josh Butler's replacement. Now if you look at Rajasthan Royals, the entire team was based out of English core: Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes, and Josh Butler, who on their given day can win you games all by themselves. Each of these players are good in two different facets. So Butler, a keeper as well as a batsman and an explosive batsman. On top of that, he also opens. The other one would be Jofra Archer, who is amazing in the power play or in the death. He is a brilliant fielder. And then Ben Stokes. There's nothing, he doesn't need an introduction by any means. But Ben Stokes has already withdrawn for personal reasons, citing mental health issues, and all respect to him. He is sitting out, so he may not be available. And we know that fitness is a concern for Jofra Archer, who has been ruled out for the rest of the year with his elbow. So, that being said, Rajasthan Royals have decided that they will be utilizing Glenn Phillips in the wicketkeeper's role. Now, will he be as effective as Josh Butler? We do not know that. Do we even know if Glenn Phillips will be opening the innings, or will Rajasthan have to come up with a plan B for that? That is again a question that needs to be answered. We will have to wait for how Rajasthan Royals line up in their first game when the second leg of the IPL begins. So, moving from Rajasthan, let's talk about RCB. RCB for me has been a team that has been on a roll in this IPL. RCB has gone from strength to strength, and just when they we thought that they had found that perfect balance with the four foreign players and the players who have been performing, they added Hasranga and Chamira to the mix as well. They have also made a change where Hessen will be coaching them now, and Simon Katic will be released of his duties. So Tim David has also been added to the squad, but we don't really see Tim David being a consistent player for RCB, or he will be. It will be a surprise considering the second leg is now the business end of the tournament. Tim David may not be a player that RCB experiments with. But then again, Virat Kohli is known to find talent. Virat Kohli is known to recognize and back talent. So if Tim David impresses, I'm sure Tim David will find a place in the 11. Hasranga for me is a strange, interesting, and exciting addition for Virat. Especially if Hasranga comes in, the balance of the team may be a little bit off because Hasranga brings in a foreign player, as they say, an overseas player that will be joining the squad. And then the question comes back, who do they drop? So it will be interesting again, exciting to see how Virat Kohli lines this team when when Royal Challengers Bangalore get back on the field again. Moving on from T20 to the World Cup, teams have been announced for New Zealand, teams have been announced for Australia, New Zealand. Some notable absentees would be um, Taylor and Taylor, who definitely was something that I thought was a surprise, considering he is one of the better bowlers of better batsmen of spin, and considering Sharjah and Abu Dhabi will both be assisting spinners. It will be interesting as to find out how Taylor has been dropped or rested, whichever way you say it. Now, one interesting thing that we have to think about here is there will be 35 matches of IPL before 45 matches of the World Cup. So do we really think that the pitches will be good enough, or will the ball break down a lot more? It will turn a lot more, it will slow down a lot more. We don't really know how that would be. And with that being said, Taylor's experience would have been vital for that middle order. Nonetheless, New Zealand is a squad that knows its strengths. New Zealand has been right there with the very best in the past few years, and winning the World Test Championship has just shown that, as a nation they are progressing with cricket. And to speak of that, now they have also added Shane Bond to the squad, to the coaching squad. So with the kind of quality bowlers that they have, especially the pace attack, Kyle Jamieson, Bolt, Wagner, this this team is going from strength to strength. This is definitely going to be one of those teams that, if they get on terms with the pitch and if they read the game right, I think this team is going to be among the top two in that Group A. Moving on from New Zealand to their partners, Australia. Australia announced their squad, and again, notable names coming back in. Aaron Finch coming back in. He has had a knee surgery, so we don't really know what kind of fitness he will be in when he comes back. But he comes back and gets the captain's armband again. He's the captain. David Warner will be opening with him, and then you have the regulars: Steve Smith, Glenn Maxwell, Mitchell Marsh, who has found a rich vein of form in recent times. So, noticeable names again. One of the names that has popped up is Jai Richardson and Matt Ellis, who has impressed in recent tournaments. They have also decided to put four reserves, which is Dan Christian, Nathan Ellis, and Daniel Sams. Tried and tested formula again by Australia. And it kind of is a worrisome factor for Australia. It might be just paper over the cracks, because we know that in the back end, we have not really seen a noticeable name from Australia come in and strike. Uh, the T20 format, or even the one day, or the test format. So this is a team that has all big names, all the right names. But I would be really interested to see what happens with this team, with this Australian team, 6 or 7 months from now. And with that said, even if this Australian team, which is in probably a group which is a lot more competitive than Group A, managed to get into the semifinals, the next tournament that they have is against Afghanistan. So will they actually have the 15-day format to go forward with the COVID protocols? That is a question for, I think, Cricket Australia to see or answer, because as it stands, the tournaments doesn't really have a 15-day gap in between. So I will be surprised as to what Cricket Australia decides to do with respect to the squad that they will announce for the Afghanistan tournament. But moving on from there to the two test matches that are happening, uh, let's talk about the one in Sabina Park, West Indies versus Pakistan. Now, West Indies winning the toss, putting Pakistan into bat. And remember, West Indies had won by the tiniest of margins in the first test. So going back into the second test, they will try their best to make sure that at least they get a draw out of this. And Pakistan, on the other hand, considering their itinerary, would probably have this as the toughest opponent. They may want to win this and get on board for the second World Test Championship. Now, Pakistan has a relatively easier draw when it comes to qualifying for or being in the top two for the World Test Championship, and winning this would be vital for them. And again, team selection seems to be a question mark with Pakistan cricket at all times. But that being said, they have probably an amazing, sturdy middle order with Fawad Alam, Babar Azam, and Mohammad Rizwan. Tried and tested, have been performing. Some question marks on Babar's form in recent past, but he managed to make a splendid 75 before he got out. And then Fawad Alam had to retire hurt. at the score of 76. But they, after the earlier fall of wickets, they managed to put a considerable decent total of 212 on board. And now, the second day was washed out, but it will be interesting to see what kind of score they managed to set up. This West Indies squad does not really seem to have the ability to chase down big targets or big totals. Now, if you look at two innings, does West Indies have the ability to score 700 runs at the loss of 20 wickets? Is something that will be out there to see. I personally don't think they have the abilities. Yes, they have shown in recent past that they have some lower middle order batting efforts that where people put their hands up and they have managed to impress in recent times. But again, they need two or three solid test batsmen that they can count on every single time. And I think that that is missing in this current West Indies squad. A notable mention of Holder. Now, Holder is one of those players that, I was talking to someone at Clubhouse this morning and I realized that Holder is one of those intelligent players who manages to read the pitch so much better than anybody else. So, for instance, if he's playing with Hyderabad, Sunrisers Hyderabad in India, his bowling pace is different. When he's playing in Sabina Park, where the ball grips a little bit as it goes forward, or if he has to bowl his off cutters, he will bowl those ones. He's one of those guys that reads the pitch so much better than anybody else. And it's always kudos to him. It's always impressive to see Holder play. And again, he made some notable contributions in the with the bat as well as the bowl in the first test. And now we wait and watch what he can do in the second test match. But fingers crossed, something happens and game goes on in this on day three of Savina Park. And with that, let's move on to England. So at England, India, I wouldn't say India surprised anybody by winning that test match. India surprised by coming back so strongly on the last day. Yes, that would be a good statement. But I'm not surprised that India was able to beat this England squad. Now, England has reacted strongly. They have made some noticeable changes for the third test. They have dropped Sibley and they have brought in David Malan. David Malan will definitely, I think, I have a feeling David Malan will be a part of the squad. I will also be surprised to see Moin Ali or Sam Curran, one of those, getting dropped and Overton getting a chance, getting a nod. I would also look forward to Ollie Pope getting a run sometime in these five test matches. May not be at Leeds, but maybe in the remainder of the test matches, Ollie Pope might also get a chance to bat. India, on the other hand, have a selection dilemma now. Do we include Shardul Thakur or do we go with these four pace bowling attack? And there are also some talks coming on from the dressing room that Jadeja might be replaced with Ashwin uh, just as a part of rotation policy. And I will be surprised if that happens, considering Jadeja has looked as the most consistent batsman after the openers in this squad. So, again, chopping and churning, we don't really know. Virat Kohli knows best, but I will not be surprised if Virat Kohli manages to spring another surprise and he manages to rest Jadeja, bring in Ashwin, breeding conditions the way he does. Um, Again, from England squad, Joe Root will be the prize wicket. And if we can get Joe Root early, nothing like it. We have pretty much bundled half of this English squad. If Joe Root, if we see the back of Joe Root. But with that, that's all that I have for today. So if you have come this far, if you have seen me before, if you have watched me before on YouTube, please do let me know how I'm doing. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, give me a shout out if you can. If you have not heard me on podcast, then this episode will be on podcast as well. I have started a podcast with the same name, Back to the Nets. It's available on iTunes, it's available on Spotify and Anchor. Please do search for me, and you can listen to me while you drive or cook or do your other activities. Let me know how I'm doing. Leave me a feedback. I am active on Twitter as well with Back to the Nets as my handle. And I will talk to you guys soon. Stay healthy and stay safe wherever you are. Thank you.